Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful weekend with the second Monster Hunter Wilds beta. If you weren't able to get into it the first time, I really do hope you had a chance to jump into the game and check it out this weekend. There were a few more things that they added that I noticed I was actually able to take advantage of this weekend. I wanted to throw together a real quick video highlighting the top 3 things that I really enjoyed about the new game, and a few things that I ran into while I was out hunting that hopefully will get optimized, or maybe I just need a little bit of help and experience to get around. If it's your first time to the channel, please feel free to come back as I release more content. I know it's a new channel, so I only have a few videos out there right now, but I intend to have a lot more in the future. One of the most notable things they added to this game was the ability to set up camps outside of the original base camp. And this isn't just the checkpoints which we've seen in other games, but you can actually go outside where the monsters are and set up an external base where you're able to do all the normal things you can do, such as cook meals, join quests, and change out your equipment. According to the developers, the whole idea behind this was to keep people out in the world and not have to come back to base camp every time you kill the monster to refresh, to get more materials, to get more items, etc., etc. Honestly, I don't know how this is going to play out in the future. I like the idea of not having to go back, but sometimes, really the only times I would do things that were in the town is if I were going back to check in a quest and whatnot. So I don't know if there's going to be some things in the town that aren't going to get taken advantage of as much, sort of like the Steamworks from Worlds, just because I'm not in the base camp as much. But I'm not going to complain. I do like being able to throw together a really quick meal and not having to go back just to throw some steaks in a pan and eat them real quick just to jump right back into a queue. So I do like this addition. I think it's kind of cool, and we'll see if they do tweak it in the future. So the second big addition, especially for somebody that plays a lot of ranged DPS, is the ability to bring in the NPC teammates with an SOS flare. I didn't play a lot of Rise, but I did play a lot of Worlds, and I always found myself just trying to jump into other people's teams just to go fight a monster because I always play with a bow. It's not impossible to go solo with a bow, especially if you're really high level and you're able to blast a bunch of DPS on a monster and you get really good at dodging. But to be quite honest, it's a multiplayer game and I just like playing with other people in my team. I like having the different weapons, see how they mix and match. Maybe somebody's doing a lot of healing, maybe somebody's using the Hunter Horn to apply some buffs. And I feel like I'm missing out if I don't have those people in the team. So as soon as I saw this, I'm like, okay, this is really right up my alley. Even if they're NPCs, they're not doing a lot of DPS, they're not doing a lot of tanking, etc., etc. That's okay. I just like having people in the team. In Worlds, I found a lot of times I would be needing to fight some of the higher level monsters that I actually needed help with. I needed somebody to pull aggro away from me while I could try to heal and vice versa. It would be 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes before I was actually able to get somebody to join my group. And I spent a ton of time just standing around and running around and waiting for somebody to actually post the quest that I needed to join. It was a big time sink. I really didn't enjoy it. So I'm really glad they added this. I really don't know how it's going to work later in the game. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to put gear on these folks, if we're going to be able to put trinkets on them, maybe customize anything. Maybe they'll add that in the future. I don't know if that's the plan at release. I don't think I've seen anything like that, but it would be really cool if I could customize them. Maybe not to the level that I can do the Palico, but just say, okay, I want my gun lance person to focus on pulling aggro. I want this person to focus on casting some kind of pots, or maybe they're in charge of trapping or something like that, just to be able to customize a group. That way I'm not relying on other people as much. Now, having said that, I am going to be spending a lot of time joining other people's groups. I just have fun that way. Even if, I'm playing with somebody that may be not that high of skill, to me it just feels more organic. That's just how I've always been. Even when I played multiplayer games in the past, maybe MMOs and whatnot, I would always try to find a group just because that's the whole point of it to me. So yeah, the NPCs, it's a great addition. No matter where it goes from now, I don't really see it being any kind of negative. Just because if you don't want to use them and you still want to play solo, you can do that without any hindrance at all. Before I jump into number 3, I wanted to give a quick shout out and recommendation to go and try out the training area, especially if you're new to the game or if you're trying out a new weapon. I am not proficient with heavy weapons, and I know trying to figure those things out, even when you're trying to fight a low-level monster, can sometimes be a pain in the butt. You're trying to figure out your parry, your dodge, what are the special attacks, and you're trying to figure out new things they may have added to this game. You're going to get frustrated if you're trying to do it in real-life combat, so I definitely suggest giving the training area a go. Again, especially if it's your first time to the game, go over there, spend 10 or 15 minutes before you go out and fight your first monster just to figure out some of the combos, some of the basic combos, and what your weapon specializes in. So third and last is the weak point system. I really like the weak point system, and I cannot wait to see some of the attacks that a lot of the weapons I haven't used do whenever you attack the weak point. For me, I've really only used the bow, the gun lance, and the dual blades in the new game so far, and I've seen all of the attacks. I really like them, especially the bow. I feel like whenever I'm able to hit those weak, spin back, and hit that massive charge shot, I'm just doing so much DPS. One of my concerns is if I'm playing in a group of 4, there are going to be enough weak points to where everybody really gets a chance, or am I going to have to compete with maybe a melee or somebody that's consistently bashing away at it to where I'm never able to hit the weak point. Either or, it really doesn't matter, but I just still think it's a cool addition. It's going to give us some better visuals, and I do know when I land some of those weak point attacks, especially with the dual blades, it just felt so awesome throwing that rope in there, spinning around, and just coming flying in on the monster and doing this incredible spin attack. It was really cool. I did the other with a gun lance. He has a nice charge, which was alright, but like I said, I can't wait to see what some of the others are with the other weapons. So that's it for this video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the beta, and I do hope you enjoy the main game. If you see me on there, feel free to shoot me an invite. My name is Zosima. You'll see me running around with my Palico Dr. Clausington. And I'm going to be doing a lot more helpful videos, hopefully jumping in and helping some guys out once I get my character built up. Hopefully doing some more how-tos if I find anything that's cool, anything that's interesting, etc. And just sharing my playthrough and my experience. It's been a long time since I've been in a Monster Hunter game. I've been wanting another one ever since Worlds. I did play Rise for a little bit, but it just didn't scratch that itch that I had when I played Worlds. So anyway, we're off. I'll see you guys again on the 28th. I've taken the entire day off. I plan on doing my first live stream with Monster Hunter, so I do hope you tune in. If you enjoyed the video, as always, with everybody else, hit me up with a sub, hit me up with a like. I do appreciate you. Take care. Have a blessed day.